elsewhere today, but we thought it worthwhile to come to listen to us. We are honored, and we feel that we've got a duty together to make Zimbabwe become a better country. The main reason why we've called for this is to clear the air on a particular news item which has been going around since about, I think it was on Monday. Yeah. On Monday. This news item has got repercussions both at national level, but it has also ramifications at a global level. We are in a global village, and we always want our country to be viewed in a certain manner, regardless of the differences we may have internally. And when a headline screams to say that the war veterans had a meeting and they demanded $500,000 as payoff from the government of Zimbabwe, at a time when the economy is in such a parlous state, when everybody else is struggling, when the Minister of Finance is doing all he can to try to make the economy of Zimbabwe regain confidence, when the governor of the Central Bank of Zimbabwe is doing all his best to try to restore liquidity into the economy, when the government of Zimbabwe is doing all it can to engage the international community and to create confidence about our economy, when the national populace of Zimbabwe is struggling so hard to make their hands remain above head in a desperate situation of poverty, it's not right that such a headline be carried out by any newspaper, let alone a responsible national newspaper. And we have the same item repeated over and over again until it reaches the floor of Parliament, forcing the Minister of the War Veterans to respond to parliamentarians. It's again wrong, because that statement was never officially issued by the war veterans. For the journalists who carried out that statement, it is not proper journalism. I think, I don't want to be extreme, but this is kind of gutter journalism. We have an organization called the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veterans Association, which has got a chairman, which has got an executive, and I'm the chairman. Why would a journalist want to go and publish that story without having first verified with the chairman? It's not right. And to continue to repeat that story over and over again as if it is truth, when it has no basis in fact from the association, it's not right.
Sylvester Tofumana is my name, online content editor for ZimDI TV News, Zim Digital TV online video news clips from Zimbabwe.
In effect on our diaspora, which is struggling very hard to send remittances back home to a desperate economy. So a responsible journalist would have thought about that kind of impact on the generality of society before you go and pen such a kind of article. We can't be a nation where we cut our nose to spite our faces. It's not right. And we cannot develop a scorched earth policy about our approach to economic management, to say let the economy collapse. That's not right. Particularly in the areas of economic and business management, I urge the newspapers to be more circumspect, to check facts, to check the veracity of those facts, to check who is behind that fact, to check whether he's got the authority to be making that kind of statement before it is made. It could have been attributed to an individual. I don't know whether it would have carried the weight if it had, but by making it look like attributing it to the war veterans, it then carries gravitas when it is not a statement of the war veterans. So we are appealing to you as journalists to say, please do not publish destructive statements which have no basis in fact, which are not based on authoritative sources or on competent sources. We should be talking about our organization, the war veterans. And the only people who can benefit from this are those who meant ill for our country. Obviously, maybe the G40, in fact, the G40 will be happy about that because they've got a scorched earth policy about Zimbabwe. If we can do anything to destroy the image of the war veterans, then we could occupy political space. They will do anything. But that's a very irresponsible attitude, to attribute false statements to an organization without checking the due facts. This is the main reason why we called up you upon, and we have watched for 3 days whether there can be a retraction or an attempted verification. There has not been an attempted verification. Yes, we had discussions with the minister 2 days ago. We never discussed the issue of the 500,000 for the war veterans. It never came up. We discussed more serious things, and I've got a lot of respect for the minister whom we are dealing with. He was my commander during the war. He went much earlier than all of us to the war. The early generation from the 1960s. He came from the Zipra side. He's got a lot of experience about the early gestation of the state apparatus, which is